Hello from Tokyo. Today I'm going to use leftover paint from this painting, so the purples and the blues. I have here a cobalt blue ultramarine, and it's a little bit thick because I left it for a day, so I'm adding a tiny spritz of water and mixing. Just use a tiny bit at a time to get the right consistency. And then here I have a permanent blue violet. And then this is an Arteza iridescent color, royal purple. And then there's light gold, and this one is bronze. So all the other colors are Amsterdam paints. And this is titanium white, which I also have left over from the previous painting. The pouring medium I'm using here is this clear PVA glue, 70% mixed with 30% water, and then for the colors I've added in 10% of US Floetrol. I have this balloon from my previous painting and also a newer balloon. This has been like 3 days or 4 days since I blew it up, so I'm going to use both of these balloons. So it's time to lay down the base color. If you have enough paint in the center of the canvas, you can just actually spread out some of the paint onto the corners, and then it will flow or glide over easily to the corners and sides. You can take off any of the excess paint from underneath the canvas by running your fingers along like so. And then after that, get the heat gun or torch to pop any bubbles out. And then after that, we can then start to lay on the colors. Today, I'm going back to just doing the corners to test out how these colors mix first. So I'm only using initially the purple and the blue and not the metallic colors, just to see how it all mixes together. Sorry if my head's in the way for some of the painting when I do that corner closest to you. I'll try and edit out as much as possible when that happens. I almost feel like this painting works with just blowing out the colors like this and leaving it. It's really pretty like this. But I'm going to do a balloon smash from this corner. I'm really taking my time with lifting the paint off because I just feel that that gives it more control. Also, this painting, well, this series at the moment is super thin paint. You know, you can use a little bit of a thicker paint for more control. These colors look so nice as it is, and without any of the metallics added. In one way, this painting as it is completed. It can just be as it is. I don't have to do anything, but today I want to just keep going and experimenting. But if you want to start with a simple, delicate flow, this is where you would stop. If you're in experimental mode and want to keep going, and then carry on by adding some more of the white base paint down, because you need that, seeing as most of it's being lifted off. Otherwise, you're going to just see the canvas when you do the next smash. If you can see how I've ended up blending the paint a lot together, this means that when you do the smash, the petals are going to be more stripy or variegated, as you can see there. You can always reshape your petals by using a straw and blowing out that way, or using your breath directly on the canvas. And this is probably another place that the painting could have been completed as well for, a very, very simple finish. But I wanted to keep on experimenting today. So I'm carrying on adding more colors as well as some of the gold because I hadn't been putting that in at the start. I felt like the blue was too strong there, so I blew the white over it and then added more paints because I thought I'd just add another flower in this corner. It keeps on evolving. Once I lift this up, the balloon up, you'll see that again, this might have been another place to stop painting as well. It looks quite nice like that. I think it's really pretty. Yeah, looking back, I might have to do one that's simple again too. But then obviously add to the middles, fix the middles a bit more to make it a little bit more interesting by dabbing other colored paint. Put some paint on your finger and then dab. See, you can tell I'm having a look thinking, this is okay. I can leave it here. But no, I don't. It was just one of those days. I just wanted to keep on changing it and tweaking it. I repeat the process again by adding more white down before adding more colors, especially if you feel like there's not enough paint underneath. But if you have enough paint, then you don't need to put extra base. You don't want too much paint on the canvas too. There's a fine line, otherwise it dries lumpy. Now this is when I decide that I want to make all the flowers larger and start to really mess around with blowing it all out again with the straw. So actually I went on a bit of a journey with this painting, and I have to be honest, at one point I almost gave up and just scrapped the whole thing. I was going to actually take the paint off and mix it into a lilac color as a lilac base, but I persevered, and eventually you will see what the result was. You can see how much this whole flow has expanded instead of the very slim line of single florals. So yeah, I'm going to go pretty extreme from here, and I start adding all the bronze because I hadn't used that before, and I thought the bronze would go really well with the cobalt blue ultramarine. So now this will turn into something completely different. So it's like you have two paintings in one in this video. And I'm going to also use the yellow balloon instead now, the fresher balloon. As this painting has had several balloon smashes to each section and several times that it's been blown out as well, the white has started to mix a lot with the colors. It's made it much softer and lighter in color. I'm pretty much adding 2 florals per section along the flow of this blowout colors, if that makes sense. And I quite like to sometimes have a petal missing by just stamping the edge or smashing on the edge of the flow. I hope that makes sense. And now that I've finished balloon smashing, I'm working on the centers or the middles of the florals by adding paint to my finger and dabbing. And I've did this several times. I spent a lot of time on this particular painting because the thinner the consistency of the paint, And basically it all falls back into itself. You can add a color and then it will sink underneath the white as well. Personally, I find it really meditative, so I don't mind doing this and taking the time and enjoying the process. But if you don't have the time, then either use a thicker paint for the whole painting, or go make a cup of coffee or tea and come back 10 minutes later and it should be a little bit drier, so tackier, and the paint that you're adding to the middles shouldn't sink. But anyway, have a go and experiment. This time, because I felt there wasn't enough paint in the middle, I was doing different layers. So in the end result, you'll see what I mean. They'll have like a two-layer middle. I hope that makes sense when you see it. Not sure that section was so bad that it needed to be scraped off, but I guess I was having my moment of madness here. But anyway, just if that happens, just add more paint and blow it out to flatten it, and it will flatten on its own as well when it dries. But I'm going to stop painting here and we will have a look at the wet finish. So this is again one of those paintings where it's really hard to ascertain how it will look when it's dry, because it's so lumpy when you've done a lot of the balloon smashes. And I wasn't sure of it at the beginning, but I just really liked the middle, so I had a confidence that it will turn out fine. But at the same time, I really was unhappy at first with it and wondered whether I should stop earlier. But now I love the bronze, and I'm glad I kept on going with this to make it more of an interesting painting than the simplistic one. I think the simplistic one would have been cool as well, so I wish I had two going on the go at once. But we will see what this all looks like when it's dry. So here it is, almost dry. There's the bits that I added later which aren't completely dry yet. I have to sand down that top bit actually. But here we go. Have a look. What do you think? I think it dried beautifully. It almost looks like a watercolor, and I think it's because the white blended a lot with the colors. And now when we go in for a closer look, you can tell what I mean by how I layered the middles this time. So can you see there's a lilac color and then the violet or purple on top? So that's from dabbing on the white with one color, making it lighter. And then once it dried a little bit more, adding some the dark color again, so adding the violet on your finger and dabbing again. So it gives it some more depth of perception. And yeah, it's very pretty. I love the bronze in this. What do you all think about the bronze? Was it better than the gold? I think it really works with the blue and purple. Let's change the orientation this way. I think it works either way, to be honest with you. The bronze has given it a little bit of a shine. You can see better maybe in this light. Or maybe if I put it down here like this. I really like it. I do love this color combination. I'm so glad. Yay! So what did you think of the color combination? Did you like it as well? And will you give it a go? I really think the bronze especially works well with that cobalt blue ultramarine. I think also copper would look nice as well. So thank you so much for watching as always, and see you next time. Bye.